Hello. If you saw my last video, kind of disturbing when I was in hospital, but I survived a subarachnoid hemorrhage, which is bleeding in the space that surrounds the brain. Um, Usually with a blood vessel aneurysm type thing, it basically bursts and leaks. Then the blood builds up around the brain inside the skull, increasing pressure in the brain, which then can cause you know, brain damage, lifelong complications, and disabilities. So that happened to me on April 8th, top of this month. So that early that Saturday morning, I was preparing for a east to south sun power transition test for my solar setup. I'm trying to lower costs, but when you go solar, it's really expensive up front, and it doesn't really pay for itself except over decades. But I was going to use it anyways for camping and stuff like that, so I had multiple purpose for things. But anyways, early Saturday morning, I was preparing for that, and I started getting a headache behind the eyes, basically from like straight back behind the eyes in the back here. So I came inside, I sat down on the couch, TV was on. Then my head went into this, felt like a full electric shock feeling. And then it quickly followed and went down my entire body. And I was like stuck. I couldn't move. I yelled for one of my sons, just kept yelling. And he came out while I was still in this phase and told me to get the car keys because he's taking me to the hospital. Over the years, I've done a lot of medical reading, in addition to, like clarinet saxophone research. Because when I was in college at University of Michigan, I wanted to be a doctor, but I wasn't smart enough, and that place is full of smart people. I was average. So, I've kept doing that. And I've had things like, meningitis in the past in 2004. So I remember what that felt like. And this was just totally different. I mean, meningitis was like a billion shards of glass rotating on your head when you move and cutting you all up and stuff. That was horrendous. You wanted to dig a hole and crawl in it. But anyways, when I was in that electric shock phase, I couldn't even reach my phone. It was like 2 inches from my hand to call 911. But then I was thinking, well, my house is horrible ingress egress for medical emergencies. Can't come in the back really unless it's in the basement. And you come from your front, you're coming up 6 stairs to get to the front, assuming it's unlocked. And I was thinking, if I had bleeding on the brain, it's coming from a blood vessel. If you were put into a ambulance, they're going to hook you up to an IV, and that's going to keep the pressure up. And I thought that's probably not good. And I also figured from my readings, I probably had 15 minutes left to live before any type of brain damage started occurring. That was early Saturday morning. My son got going, headed out the door, and as soon as that shocking stopped, I got up and started running out the back door, grabbed some trash bags for the next phase. Got to the car and the vomiting started. I'm not sure if I hid it in the bags or not, but whatever. Now, interestingly, and I'll play the video after I talk here a bit, but I found on my phone that I had in my hand as I was going out the door a little 2-second blurb or something where it's recording. There's a recording on it which sounds like a transformer fizzling and blowing up, and then I'm going on the video, just short. It's just really short. I think that was on my way out the door. And I'll show it here like 5 times and go over the sound at the beginning 5 times or something so you can hear this. I don't remember that at all. But anyways, on the way to the hospital, I had to tell my son to speed. Don't do 25 and 25 zone. Do at least 35 if you don't see a car below the stop sign. And we blew like 2 red lights. Hospital is not very far away. But anyways, we got to the hospital, and as I was stepping out, I totally just blacked out. Just poof. And I guess I fell to the ground. They bring out a wheelchair for you, but I don't know what happened. Anyways, I remember blacked out, but I could still hear, and then I had a quick flash image from above of being splayed out on the ground and the lower part of the chair. And I remember hearing that person calling for the nurses. Yeah, excuse me, this is gonna be choppy because it brings back some emotions. Anyways, where was I? Oh, call for the nurses, and I only had, looking back at times of stuff, the next day and a half, I only had like 10 seconds of, or 20 seconds of visual seeing stuff or hearing stuff. Anyways, I remember just this really blurred out motion going through the security check into the hospital, and then hearing someone say, no, not that way, this way, because there's a regular medical entrance to the left and then the ER to the right, from everything I remember. The next visual I had of, they were just ripping off my clothes, and there's just that, like my eyes open for like half a second and closed. Then I remember the nurse saying something like all my veins were collapsed. I'm sorry, all my veins were collapsed, and just keep trying. Then the next thing I remember was something cold in my back, which was one of those long backboards, and that kind of, I don't want to say woke me up, but I could hear again. And then they transferred me from the regular gurney to a MRI machine thing. Then I could hear whirs and clicks of the MRI machine. Not sure I was awake the entire time, but then I remember they transferred me back to the gurney thing. And then the next thing I remember, I woke up because I couldn't breathe, and there's a mask on me. I lifted it up, and someone said, I said I cannot breathe. They said put it back on. I did, and then later on I woke up in intensive care unit. The weird thing though is when I was out, I kept seeing these images, and I'll try to post some here of, I'm just kind of do them quickly in paint or something. Of neon colors and blotches and stuff, and during the entire time frame, I guess it didn't. It only seemed like I don't know, 30 seconds of blotches and things before I woke up. But in intensive care, I remember when I would fall asleep, I would continually have these same images reoccur. Just neon lines, and large color blotches. And then I guess my brain started working better again, and then the oddity thing of having this dream of these patients walking by with these batteries attached to them, and them yelling at me saying, wake up. And half the time I'd wake up and I'd go back to sleep, and wake up again 10 minutes later, go back to sleep. Before I started having regular dreams, I guess. So, what is today? Today is the 25th. And I think I came home Saturday night or Sunday morning, 22nd or 23rd. And, I continued to do better in there, and the biggest oddity was when I guess my spine started reabsorbing the blood. It made my lower lumbars in my spine just go wacko, whereas I could not walk. But I'm walking with a cane now, slowly, not very far. But anyways, if you saw the last video, and I know some friends wonder what the heck happened to me, that was it, a subarachnoid hemorrhage. Look it up. I'm sure there's different definitions out there. It's not a very fun thing, for sure. But at least I'm back home now. I've been off work for, when did I go on the 8th? So over 2 weeks now. And I won't see a specialist for about another week and a half, and then they determine the plan to go back. Luckily, I work at a really good place. Actually, a medical place, so I have like 900 or 1,000 sick hours banked up, plus like, I don't know, 200 or more vacation hours, so, I'm kind of set there. But it's interesting, medical emergencies, and I remember when it happened, I even thought, okay, should I call 911? If I did, I would have to go out, because the ingress-egress have to go outside and actually lay down on the ground, because they're not going to get in and out of my house in 10 minutes, because I knew I had limited time. But it brings a, excuse me, I have these, I don't want to call them seizures, but these spasms from time to time. Well, of course, I'm on these multiple medications too, now that I mention that. Anyways, watch your health, and I remember this pressure is similar to the pressure in the back of my head. I remember I was trying to, this decades ago now, when I was emulating Grover Washington, trying to get his tone and stuff like that. Not his technique. His technique is different, but actually I should have a video about his technique, because I studied that too. I had to use a really hard reed on a really wide tip opening, and my God, I mean, the sound you get is incredible, but the pressure from back here you feel is incredible. I only did that for a short time, like, I'm gonna scale this down a bit. Smaller tip opening, softer reed. Go from a 4 or 5 I was using down to a 2.5, But be careful out there, don't, blow your brains out, literally. So, have a good day, and I'll be making videos again sometime, maybe, probably. Takes a lot of effort. So, have a good day, and we'll see you later.